Welcome to the Nerdtastic in 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D.
That's going in.
That's getting, yeah, that's making it.
Nerdtastic in
3D!
Bong, gong, up top.
I'm gonna leave my hand
That's
and you
the
high
most
five.
This is a really
Fun
awkward
is
high five. Very awkward.
That wasn't loud enough.
We could be better at high fiving, guys. Welcome to Nerdtastic in 3D. We are a podcast of industry, entertainment, veteran type people. Basically just sitting around talking about anything and everything that we find nerdy or entertaining.
What is the definition of Nerdtastic?
Oh, that's not till episode 25, the bicentennial episode.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
This is episode number 19. My name is Jason Carter. I work with Disney Animation.
I am Josh Labrot. Sorry, I was drinking at that time. I didn't know it was coming to me. A little left or right would have been.
I pointed. Generally, point is the indication that it's your turn.
Fair enough. Josh Labrot, everybody. I am a layout artist at DreamWorks Animation, and I make your movie look pretty. So,
What project you on? Can you talk about it? Can you say the name of
I'm
it?
on a fantastic movie called Turbo.
There you go.
What up?
About snails in the Indy 500.
Nice.
So, we're going to get some of that Indy green.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. And to my right is...
We're gonna continue the pointing.
See how I did that? But I vocally said
I like that.
The best part is we'll be able to watch that video. Jason going.
And Josh looking at, why are you pointing at me? I don't understand what we're doing.
So I'm gonna point at myself.
Done.
And go Adam McFarlane, producer on U.S. version of Top Gear.
Season 3?
It's 100% maybe.
Is it lime lit right now? It's not really green lit.
Yeah,
You're at
no,
lime.
it's going to happen. We're just sorting out the contracts.
The number one
So-
question everybody's asking us is, do you know the Stig?
Who's asking that?
No one.
Oh, so how is it the number one question?
Everyone.
Oh, I can't tell you.
Everyone
To
except
my
the number one question that
immediate
nobody
right,
has asked.
also sharing this wonderful couch with me is
I'm Sean Fennell, and I am a crowd supervisor at DreamWorks
And
Animation.
department chair.
And I'm a department chair for what's that's worth, which is very little.
is that
Does
like
that mean
first chair?
everyone in the
orchestra?
department sits on you, takes advantage
my
of you?
signature in my Google email account is a chair.
A big leather red
A
chair.
big red
Well, at
leather
least it's
chair.
leather, not like wooden IKEA.
I saw that. I was just like, what the hell? Why does he have
It's
a chair
awesome.
there?
Because I'm the chair.
He's the chair.
You are the chair.
And I'm
What,
working on Rise of the Guardians, which the trailer is dropping soon.
Today.
Trailer's
I
out
saw
today.
it.
It
Bam!
looks
How's
fantastic.
that for
It
soon?
did look pretty
Are there any
badass.
crowds or chairs in the trailer?
There are. There's some crowds of nightmares, and there are some crowds of elves.
There are.
I like it.
You're an elf.
Who are you?
I'm Jack Eckler. I work under Sean Fennell in that crowds department.
Let's keep this
also,
PG
So
here, buddy.
Jack is my chair.
Yes, yes, for better use of the term. And I also work on Rise of the Guardians.
What's
and
lower than a chair? An ottoman?
I'm a footstool.
footstool.
Maybe
I'm
a
a
stool,
footstool.
yeah.
Footstool.
Fair enough.
The
Hey,
ground?
Josh, dude, let's high five. It's about as awkwardly as retarded as the guy sitting next to him.
Damn it!
We could do like a chain 5.
I really thought I was just gonna wait and you were gonna come to me.
So first thing that has to be
Awkward.
discussed is, has anyone seen this IKEA commercial that's going around about the lamp?
No.
What?
I'm surprising you guys.
This
with
has
this
no
one.
feeling.
That's the one.
I have
you
seen that. Yes, it's
I have
hilarious.
not seen that.
So it is shot like a slow drama, really dramatic, about this woman who is pulling a lamp off of a table. And it's shot like you see a POV of the lamp being pulled out of the apartment, and then it gets put on the curb outside, and it looks up at the window of the apartment, and the music's really sad. And then there's the woman gets a replacement lamp, and puts it there, and it's just really sad, depressing music, and it like starts to rain. And then this guy comes out and goes, "Are you feeling sorry for this lamp? You're crazy! Lamps have no feeling! The new one is better!"
And it's an IKEA commercial?
That
And then it just says IKEA.
That commercial came out like last year. I think,
It is
or the year before
brilliant. It's doing a resurgence this week, and it's just absolutely
that.
hilarious.
Has no feeling.
You're crazy. I love that. I love it.
Is that your Swedish impression?
Honestly, he sounds like that.
Horny,
It is
horny,
absolutely
horny.
ridiculous. So let's talk about something a little bit more serious. Let's go into automated driverless cars.
Yes,
autonomous cars. We've talked a little bit about this topic this week, guys. But I think Google is pioneering some really interesting stuff with their driverless cars that we've been seeing over the last couple of years. But they just recently released a commercial about giving a blind man this vehicle. Now, I don't know if it's an official thing like, hey, it's your vehicle, or just test it out for us, but basically a guy who is 95% blind, which is well over legally blind, has this car now, and he's using this car.
I love how he says this is the best he's ever driven.
Like insinuating that he has tried to drive before and it's gone worse.
Well, he drove with
He was
a
on
car
top,
full of people.
Was
mind
seeing
you.
eye dogs.
He was on Top Gear.
4 other people were in the car with him, which was to be noted.
Oh,
Obviously.
that's the guy whose dog pissed on the Top Gear sign, right?
It was a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Different guy. That guy was
Did
older.
we talk about this? Not this car, but the whole self-driving car before?
I think we touched on it.
I bring it up every week, just not at this podcast.
Well, the thing is, it's funny, too, because, we'll talk about this stuff at work or at lunch on our own time, and then it just bleeds into this, and I'm just like, didn't we go
I gotta be
over
honest.
this before?
We
It's
certainly
all
talked about
meshing into each other. I'm like,
It really is.
Are we? Is this the Matrix?
If you
We
guys
certainly
were-
talked about it at work.
If you guys were curious about how much we all have in common, it's about 19 podcasts worth. Then we start to repeat.
Yes, exactly. We've peaked.
Yep.
Rerun.
I did watch the
We're
blind
actually
video.
going to go back to our crappier quality audio
Right.
for the 20th
Exactly.
episode.
One recording in a room.
I did watch that video today though, and it was actually it's extremely fascinating. I mean, I wish it would go in. I wish that video would have went into more of the tech stuff. I did find it interesting when they pull up to the first stop sign and the guy says, we're shooting lasers in all 3 directions and make sure there's no oncoming cars going. And I'm like, I
LiDAR
bet your ass
and
because you all would
radar.
go get
See, and
killed.
that's my. I had a couple questions about. I mean, how does it know? How does it know?
I was impressed to see it drive through a drive-through.
How does it know the second window? What if there's a sign that says "Please proceed to the next window"? Like this window isn't open. Like you've been through McDonald's
me,
where
Siri.
there's 2
Obviously.
windows and then
Siri, can you move me to the next window?
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously
Xbox,
it wouldn't.
bring
know.
me my cash.
yeah. I mean, it may know eventually.
Here's
Well-
the thing, though. We're talking about a driverless car. Like, this is the technology of the future, right? And we give this technology that's out there right now to a blind guy. And we say, here's this technology that enables you, a blind man, who otherwise could not do this thing that other humans do in their life. You can do it now. What are you going to do?
Go to Taco Bell.
I'm going to go Taco Bell. A burrito sounds really good
And he
right
was
now.
awesome. And the Google guys in the car, that was the best part. The Google guys were just like, dude, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to actually, and he called it out. He's like, I really want Taco Bell. And the guy was like, okay, let's go get a taco.
Sidebar: he did get a taco, not a burrito. So
fair
just-
enough.
Oh.
the best was watching
Was
him
it a
just
Dorito
chow
taco?
down. He was
Yeah.
just chewing on it
While
while
the
he was
car is
driving.
moving.
Just
You know what?
being all kinds of blind.
I have to admit,
I would love to have a car like that.
if you
love
guys,
it.
if you guys follow the DARPA challenge at all, which is like the really hardcore, like mountainous, like
drive,
rough terrain,
Drive 300 miles in 2 days or something
exactly.
like
Like, what's the best mile per
that. Across
hour
uneven
average is what
terrain.
I was thinking. Sorry, I
Yeah.
blanked out there. But you look at these cars and they're like these supercars. They're like Hummers with giant computers sticking out of the top, and it's this really crazy, like big contraption, like these vans. And then you look at this Google car, and it's
What was a Prius?
It's a car.
No,
that
but-
they put a bunch of shit on.
but not even a bunch of stuff. It's like it's pretty low profile. Like you look at it and you're like, it's a Prius. Oh wait, there's something small on top of there. I mean, it's not like it's this massive, like in DARPA, this massive, like huge footprint of a thing.
It
The
looked
DARPA
like-
thing, did you guys see, like, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago where the 16-year-old entered?
No.
16-year-old who's been learning programming from his father for, like, since he was 4 or whatever, entered the DARPA challenge with his car, and he, like, built a neural net to help process the path resolution to drive where he needed to go. It's pretty
The
cool.
ladies are knocking down his door.
He failed, but
If you
it was
are
impressive to see a 16-year-old
if you're
build a car.
if you're 16 and you can build a neural net processor or whatever,
You're 16
It's
and
a
know what
learning.
neural net
It's a learning
is.
computer.
It is a learning.
you got a bright future ahead of you, is my thinking.
The whole
Probably a very single one too.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. You make that.
I gotta
green.
be that guy.
You
I
make
gotta be that
green.
guy.
I don't care how shitty you look.
You still got to know how to use it.
Get money, get paid. Making that
Right.
paper.
You don't need
So-
to know how to use it.
Here's a question for you guys: this driverless car business. Is there anything that scares you about it? Would you have any problem getting behind the wheel of this thing and letting it do its business?
I wouldn't. There are 2 things that scale me: total system failure, right, which you would not be ready for, and potentially hackers being able to take over your vehicle, or the government being able to take over your vehicle for whatever purpose.
I'd be more worried about hackers.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a concern. The question I have in an article
well,
I
don't
read
know.
on.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but think about like unmarked cars. Remember, like in the 80s, there were like a lot of like there were stories of women being sexually harassed by unmarked police cars.
Yeah.
If an unmarked police car has access to your vehicle and says, "Hey, I can pull you over forcefully," that's not a good thing either. But
That's true. There's probably no more outrunning the cops. That's a good point.
no.
Unless you,
I can do it.
are off
They
the
just
They
grid.
would never be going over the speed limit.
You're off the
Faster
grid.
than you think.
But there's still that thing where it's not going to be a mandatory. Everybody has to jump to this autonomous car. Like, you're not going to have to make the switch. There may be, I mean, who knows? There may be a road system where
That's my problem.
only autonomous cars can go on this road, or
Like
like
the
there's some like
maglev?
byway that is super direct, and it's like that can only be autonomous cars or whatever. But they're not going to eliminate all manually driven cars.
Right.
Like, that's not going to happen.
What's interesting is
What would be interesting is the trucking industry taking that on
yeah.
and pretty much removing driving from the equation of shipping.
Like in the episode of The
Good.
Simpsons?
Yes, pretty much.
Isn't it that 18% of the American workforce is related to the land transportation, like cargo? I think I heard that statistic. Not just that, hey, there's 18% of the workforce of truck drivers, but are related to that field.
Are trains? Do they have like those kinds of? There you go, sir.
Thank you, baby.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. Do they have trains that are 100% autonomous?
I don't know.
I don't believe so.
That seems like such an easier thing to do first.
No steering involved.
Totally agree.
It's just on a train.
Totally agree.
It's on a track. You're just
Trains change tracks. There's a lot of variables.
No, but I
there
mean,
that
but like
you need out
you
of
just
control.
there are a lot less variables
Right.
than a road, where I don't know. It just seems like that would be a good like testing bed.
Right. It's not
Where-
like the train in front of you is going to stop suddenly.
Yeah, and that would be
Well, they do have automated systems for stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
when trains are supposed to stop, is usually handled by the automated system. And when those fail, big bad things happen, which I saw like the Discovery Channel's like 10 worst disasters in 2011.
or
and one
Denzel
of them-
Washington's movie Unstoppable. By the way, you laughed. That was a good movie. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's actually pretty good.
One of those shows, one of those disasters was a commuter train in, I can't remember what country, a commuter train. They weren't servicing the tracks, and the little boxes that tell the train when another train is stopped or malfunctioning or whatever, when it's supposed to stop sending signals to the train, and two trains just boom. And the last three cars of the train, anyone was in there liquefied. They were just completely destroyed.
And that's, I mean, like that's a legitimate concern because how many? I mean, everybody here has multiple computers. How many times has your computer just stopped working?
I just had Dell at my house today to fix my laptop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because you have a PC.
I don't know. My Mac.
It's-
But,
That
but like
was for
legitimately, how many times has a computer just like been like, I'm not going to work right now?
Yeah.
And can you imagine being in a car and the car going, I'm not going to work
Let me
right
put
now.
it this way.
But I really want Taco Bell.
Right?
But
like,
I'm sleeping and I'm on the highway.
everyone here except probably Adam, but a majority of your year, you could say, I've solved technical problems by rebooting my machine.
You
right?
just did it today.
I
didn't
just
you?
did it with the podcast. Yeah, exactly.
That's always the first thing you do.
Right? It's like, and to say, hey, what's the solution I have? I can't solve this problem. Well, let me just restart it. Like,
Yeah.
it's
The
scary.
restarting is the new, just kick it.
Yeah, exactly. Just beat it
Just
until
give it a good
it's-
kick.
it's a
Blow
good
in the
start.
cartridge, you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
it just needs a good kick.
What's interesting about the automated cars is, I think, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the whole solution was, yeah, we can make this happen, but it involves infrastructure in the road system and the transportation system of the roads. So you could have like cars that could pick up sensors that were actually built into the road. The thing that I think is more interesting is the approach nowadays is all looking at, no, this has to be
Let's make it
seamless.
work.
We're never going to be able to
Repave all the roads with
special,
sensors and
yeah,
IR
yeah.
beacons. and-
Exactly.
Yeah,
but to have
if we can't replace the infrastructure of the internet that's brand new, like the wiring that goes to houses, there's no way we're going to replace the entire
Let's just take-
industrial
I mean,
infrastructure of our road
Why
system.
doesn't everybody just kind of take 2 months and just not go anywhere and let the government just repave all the roads? That'd
Like
be- that'd be,
Carmageddon?
You know, like, yeah.
Armageddon.
Carmageddon.
Or we could do another thing and just make the world come to us so we never have to leave our house.
How much would that be worth to you? Would you? If you could put a price tag on, I'm going to buy a normal car X, but I'm going to pay Y amount of dollars to make it.
And we're talking about all
autonomous.
bugs are out of it. It's not going to
Yep.
get hacked. It's
Well, yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
let's
say
just-
best case scenario.
let's say best case.
What would that worth?
256-bit encryption.
What would
Sure.
that? What would that be worth?
probably
to
more.
you?
There's going to be a new bit encryption.
New bit.
Sure.
Double inverted.
So you want a
third bit.
number to buy the car.
Is
100,
it- yeah,
100 grand.
$30,000.
You would buy that car for $100,000?
I personally wouldn't. I don't know. I don't want.
I'm
I,
saying,
I
what
want to
is
drive.
what would you pay for it?
$30,000.
Are there maintenance costs on this thing? Like, what are the what's upkeep on it?
That's kind
These
of my
are a
second-
lot of questions.
Hey, every
just
hypothetical
like that.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like the hypothetical. You
$30,000.
shoot the kid, or you just let him go. You have to.
No one's going to go
It's not-
30,001.
It's not just a simple answer.
Yeah.
No, but
$29,999.
Son of a bitch.
Tesla's S car, the S series and stuff like that. You know, their first sedan. It's not that much money, or compared to what you would think a car would be. It's like $49,000 it starts at. That's the base for one.
No one gets the base. Let's do it.
But you have to think about, okay, you're not putting in gas at all. That is 100% electric. It's not like a hybrid of this and that. It's 100% electric. So you go, okay, I don't have to put gas in my car now. Now with gas prices being at fluxing between almost $5.
Summer's going to be $5 for sure.
You're going like, okay, every week or every other week I'm spending $80 on gas. So you go, okay, what is that a month? Okay, now if I was to buy this car,
Yeah.
or gas is costing me, say, $500 a month. If I was to apply that to my current car payment, would that equal a less of amount of payment if I got this electric one?
Sure.
You're either
much
going to
money
save
are you-
money. Even if you break even, then you can look at it with the green thumb approach and go like, oh, well, then I am saving the...
Sure.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
if you have newer, better, more cutting-edge technology in the thing that you're maintaining, the maintenance costs are going to be higher because you're going to need specially trained people.
We're saying this is
Until
this
it's
is
widespread.
established
That's true.
infrastructure.
That's true.
So, like,
But if it's an established thing, you still have a LiDAR component that's like, yeah, dude, we got to call the LiDAR guy down.
But
and
now
trip at it
there's those classes in the community college.
okay,
system.
let's say this. Let me let me clarify it for you. Okay.
As long as I can have a bar in my glove box, good to go.
So,
oh my God,
Archer
drunk
style.
driving is going to be fantastic.
so normal car, and there's a certain price tag on top of this. All the bugs are worked out. It's a flawless system. Every time you take it in for an oil change,
Wait, so it's gas. So I still have to buy gas.
it is a yes.
No.
Or if you would buy an electric car, I'm asking, what's the price tag associated
Well,
with
I want
the
to know
car?
what kind of car it is. Is it gas
What
or
kind of
electric?
car would you buy? You
It
have
needs to be electric.
okay, so you would buy an
Honda
electric
needs
car.
to be electric.
I'm not talking about the type of car that this comes with. I'm saying if this is
60,000.
available for every
It's a
single
package.
car,
It's a package that you
what
can
would be
apply to a
the
car.
package you could apply to the car? And how much would it be? And is there something? It's all worked out. All the bugs are all worked out. Every time you take it in for an oil change, there's a technician that automatically looks at it, makes sure it's operating at peak
Does it sync with my iPhone?
capacity. Are these questions really important to you?
Yes.
Jack, what do you think? What do you think, Jack?
I'm saying 50.
$50,000.
Yes.
For the kid or the whole car?
The whole car.
Okay, so
I'm
what
thinking,
car would that
I'm
be?
thinking $15,000 as a package. You will get an auto-drivable car for $15,000.
15 plus
If you
the cost
have
of
a
the car?
self-sustaining car like that.
Oh, you're saying addition to the cost of the car? I was too busy asking
No,
other
I
questions.
misread Jason first too. I thought he
too.
meant the whole car.
I thought. yeah.
Okay, so you're going to buy a car. I would buy a Toyota Camry.
didn't
Okay,
say that.
I would buy a Toyota Camry. I would pay $10,000 to have that be the automated version, the autonomous version. Do you have another question, Adam?
Automaton.
You don't throw out these kind of hypothetical things if you don't want to spur conversation.
You don't say
I
hypothetical.
know. I was just about to say that. Hypothetical?
You said scales earlier, so that was wrong. So just bringing that back. So I have a question, and I'm being
I've
polite,
resigned
and
to
I'm
that.
raising my hand.
Yes, Adam.
Is there like a sport mode where the car's going to be a little more aggressive? Or
It depends on the car you're buying.
No, but
this
I mean,
is a
like-
package.
You could drive a Ferrari, speed limit, slowly, flow of traffic. Is there a sport mode that says, "Hey, I'm going to be a little more aggressive autonomously"?
I'm kind of wondering if
Let's go. I'm okay.
if super techie people are going to be able to kind of get into the guts of the
Oh
thing.
gosh,
and,
yeah, take
and
off the
tune it,
limiters.
right? Maybe I'll take that corner a little closer. Maybe I'll do like slightly
Like mods.
mods for your
Jailbreak.
auto
You're going
car.
to jailbreak your car.
Okay, so
I have to take my car into the Genius Bar.
so
Got to make an appointment.
Every 3 miles it does this just for fun.
Because you can have those USB sticks that do like jerky moves on your mouse and keyboard, and someone just plugs that into your car, and
got
all of a
auto
sudden your car does.
So Sean says he would buy a car and he would pay $15,000 to turn that into. My price point is 10. I think I would pay $10,000 to have my car be able to do that. Jack, what do you think?
I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into that I'd have to take into consideration. I'm
Which
sure.
is
I'm sure the price point would probably be about what hybrids started at, because you got to understand there's going to be such a fear factor on the first gen of those cars that you're just not going to get people into them.
What would
Yeah, but
you,
no,
what
his
would
hypothetical
you pay?
is
what would you pay to get
all
into
that
it?
shit's worked out.
What would you pay? on top of the price of your car. Any
But
car.
don't ask any questions because those get him stirry and mad.
Not mad. Just this
Just
is a
stirring.
really simple question
No.
that's been really
not.
complexified.
It's not
No, it's loaded.
Complexified.
It's a loaded question.
I'm actually glad you asked about the iPod connection because I was concerned about that.
I'd buy an
There are
old
normal
ass,
cars right now that have iPod connections.
I'd buy an old ass
I own
Volkswagen
one.
Rabbit.
I
and
did.
put this up on.
So, what would you pay to have your car turned into?
Oh, my
Autonomous?
current car.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I was confused by his question. I thought you meant this was
Okay.
This was.
Let me
its
re-clarify.
own
Let's
autonomous-
start over. Let's just wipe this whole thing.
Honestly, I thought it was if Toyota all of a sudden offered up an autonomous car, how much would I pay
Right.
for the autonomous
No.
car? You're
As
saying
Sean said several times.
converted.
Several
Right.
times.
Your
a
current car
package,
converted.
package available with
imagine that you could take it to an aftermarket
wouldn't.
shop and get a new radio in
wouldn't.
it.
You would
and
not.
get your
there's
tinting
no.
and throw on the autonomous package while you're at it.
So let's say, let's legitimately say you had a car you didn't care about. It was cheap. Let's make it autonomous. Not your BMW that you like to drive.
No. I'm just.
You're still saying
no.
you
I'm
just
with
wouldn't-
I'm with Jason. Current
Yeah.
car wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, if
Matter of
you
fact,
did,
if I had a you go.
hypothetically,
Not-
if
not-
you
not
did,
gonna do it.
what would you pay?
I wouldn't.
You're not interested in autonomous cars?
No. Literally, for it to be attractive to me, period, everybody would need to have it.
Okay, what about if you weren't going to buy it, but it was out on the market? What do you think you would see a commercial for? How much would it be advertised?
35,000.
On top of the price of the car?
No.
What?
I'm back to. Josh asked a question.
No, I'm asking a question.
As
of
an
the package.
aftermarket add-on?
Yes.
Oh, fuck if I know. I don't know, dude. What?
We're not asking if you
20,
know. We're,
20 fucking.
we're asking what you think.
20 grand. Jack says 20 grand.
Honestly,
hurt my head.
honestly,
This is officially hurt my head.
no offense. That part of the question is just retarded. It should either be they designed the vehicle to do that. There should be no aftermarket add-ons to make your car fucking function for you because it just you.
That's exactly what's available right now. Google is taking a Prius and aftermarket converting it into an autonomous car. What would you pay for that?
That would be awesome.
I'm back to I wouldn't. So I don't know. Whatever Adam would pay, I'm good with.
Okay.
$8.
All right. So moving on.
No, I want to talk about more.
I'll
about
make
this.
my
No.
own out of a steam
That
trap.
horse is dead.
There's
Yeah, I
just
think we
It's
beat
been-
that.
it's been-
Yeah.
it's
Here's
been
a
beaten.
simple question though. That article, I don't know if anybody read it. It was the
Dead
Autoblog.
horse.
It was the Autoblog one though. It's like, who's at fault
I want
when
a
something
helicopter that
happens?
does that. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Like, who is legitimately at fault if this car gets advertised as like you can sleep in it?
You
while
gotta
drive?
understand that's not the whole point of this whole thing is that you're obviously you're taking yourself out of the equation so the car could drive. Who you're not taking out of the equation is the other 98% of people who won't do this with their cars.
can I send my car
And
to go
that's-
get me Taco Bell without me?
That's who I worry about and why I would never
That would
do
be
it
pimping.
Right, but if
until
you
everyone did it.
like, if you've seen some of the press that Google's put out there. Now, I admit it's press, so it could potentially be misconstrued. But there was a reporter who this car was driving along the street, and the reporter literally jumped in front of the car. Car stopped, no problem.
Yeah, but it was only going 30 miles an hour.
Let me know how it works out.
True.
That's all I say to those people. I just
Okay, so Jack doesn't trust the system.
No. I don't trust humans. I don't trust when I drive my car. When Adam drives his bike's even worse.
Well, actually,
I
that's-
just don't trust other people
Autonomous
around me
motorcycles?
driving.
Sure, but would you trust a
And that's a
system to
great-
protect you from
There'd be
those
no point
people?
in that.
Of course not.
That's a great
Nah.
point, but you
So
know
don't
what?
trust the system or the people.
There's one thing that we haven't really touched on in the fact that like Google is doing this, but they're only really doing this in LA. It's never been tested in
I thought they
adverse
did it in
weather.
San
It's
Francisco.
being done in
It's-
the
it's
Bay
all-
Area.
Okay, but
Yeah.
is it being done around
Santa
snow?
Clara. Santa
Yeah.
Clara is where the blind guy
Yeah,
did his driving.
that's a legit like weather.
Snow, Jamaica, sand. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, those are all things.
Pebbles.
I just, you guys, I just think there's a big underestimating of people around you.
Sure.
So, Dead Horse.
I'm not
Moving
saying
on.
I would do it again. I would just. It was hypothetical.
Interesting thing happened this week. Digital Domain, right? We're going to get into some of our territory here of what we talk about. Digital Domain CEO announces that for their Florida project in Port St. Lucie, right? Did I say that right? That they have a system worked out where they're going to get cheaper labor. And guess how they're going to get this cheaper labor?
This was to investors, mind you.
Yeah.
Meaning, I need to get more money from you,
Canadians.
so here what we're doing to make this happen.
Yeah.
Canadians,
No.
children,
Close.
Close.
babies,
No.
Spot on.
Would you like to keep
Had
guessing?
no idea you knew.
babies. I knew it.
Basically, the
Intelligent little
CEO
creatures.
said that we are going to have students, like computer graphics students, animation students, pay us for the privilege of working on our movies.
Not that. Not just for the movies.
It goes deeper than that, yeah.
You're going to school. You're going to school. You're going to go for 4 years, however long their program is. And by your junior and senior year, obviously, if you are good enough, you will then get put onto projects to possibly be into, whatever feature film that you can add to your resume when you leave the college to get a job.
Sure. But the point is, these students are paying for this material
The
to be on their
premise
resume.
he made to the investors was they would be paying us to work on our films, thus cutting production value down, give us money because
Production
we're showing
value, yeah. The
well,
value would be lower.
value and just production costs. So hey, we can do our films for cheaper. It's an interesting article because he talks about having to go talk to the Board of Education of Florida and sell them on the fact of, hey, they're going to pay us to go do this, and I guess after some deliberation, the state found that this sounds like a good thing, and it's interesting.
How many people in this room would have done the same thing if it existed when we were in college?
I would have did it in a heartbeat.
I would have also.
I didn't go to school for this stuff, so
Yeah.
Whatever your profession. I mean, like if I could have gone to auto mechanic school and been working, on some
Working at the Indy
Working
500.
for the Indy, yeah.
NASCAR team, and they were like, "We're not going to pay you. You're going to pay your standard school fees, but we're going to let you do this." Absolute hands down would have done it. No question asked.
I have fundamental issues, and me and Jason, me and Sean talked about it earlier in the day. Is that here's where it boils down to, and this for people listening, to a student at the student level in this industry. This is an amazing opportunity.
Sure.
For anybody currently working in the industry, this is the worst possible thing you can hear because for better or worse, you kids listening to this who are in animation and going to go in animation, it's going to fuck up the curve. For better use of term, it's just going to fuck the curve up because they're going to get out and they're going to have these films, and either DD will offer them a job after, and they're going to offer them at a salary of, I'm guessing, $25K a year, because these kids have made no money ever, so that's good money to them. Or they're going to go to L.A., and every studio in L.A. who's well aware of what DD's doing is going to see the films that they know DD Florida put out and go, of course we're going to, sweet, you got a production experience? We're going to give you $26K a year. How does that sound? Now, hey, Jack Eckler, you're doing a great job. You've been in this industry a long time. We figured out we can hire 3 of you, though, and still make money. So, thanks again.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks again. Dude, best of luck to you. I'm sure studio is going to snag you up in a heartbeat. These are the downsides, and this is why we just heard today from one of the people we work with, the head of one of the heads of our union on the animation side is actually in talks with the state of Florida and their education board trying to see if a lawsuit could be filed for different things, for child labor stuff and all this kind of crap.
I think I hear what you're saying, right? From a student standpoint, it looks interesting. My personal take is, what a low, sleazy thing to do. Like, that is such a business.
Oh, it's a business model. That's their job.
Like, that is, but heartless business.
Companies have done it before, though. It just hasn't been very successful.
Businesses usually don't have heart. That's how they make money.
Well, let's go back to the Mac talk we had about going to, whatever the hell the name, Foxconn, and whatever the town was, Shozu province or whatever.
Bao.
One thing, too, though, it was said...
Yes, Adam. Direct translation from Adam McFarlane. Umbao. I was waiting for you to add some Ethiopian. Good day, Umbao.
One thing the dude...
Who are you translating it for?
No, I'm saying the name of the city.
All our Mandarin listeners, Jason.
Ching Chong.
Hey, how?
Adam.
But the one of the articles said, or part of the article said, is the reason why they're also asking this is just because the industry is becoming so expensive, and look at every studio is going to Vancouver right now because of the tax incentives. Then that goes away. A studio will go there and then die, and then go there and then die because a place will only have an incentive for so long, and then it'll take it away because they've got the revenue from the thing. They're out of whatever the hole they were. And then now it's costing them money to have this tax incentive, where if they take it away, they actually then save money throughout the year. So what they're proposing is, by us doing this, it keeps the work because it would keep our costs down. If not, we have to go other places. So, I mean, it definitely is a gray area. There are plus and there are minuses depending on where you are, like Jack said, like in the industry. Like, if you're a student, like you said, if you're a student, it's fantastic. It is a fantastic opportunity.
I mean, you think I mean, you think sleazy business or whatever. You think every internship where you weren't paid at all. I mean, it's the same thing that's been existing forever.
That's what my
the
wife
whole point of an
I'm not
internship.
saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's wrong, and for someone to chase it, not just chase it, openly chase it, admit it to the whole world we're doing it, is sleazy, and to me, honestly, unethical.
I don't know how you
so
can
this
get
is
the child
my
labor
this is
laws.
my
I don't get
opposite
how
side of
can
that.
work.
Then internships. What do you think about an internship?
Certainly,
Everything about that is sleazy. Then
not necessarily true. On paper, an internship looks really, really good. Look, we're going to give
Unpaid.
you all this experience. Unpaid, sure. You're going to do work. You're going to get experience. We're going to give you school credit. Most legitimate internships, you get a school
so
credit
you're getting
for it.
school credit for this.
Well,
thing.
let's hold on.
Wouldn't you be getting school credit for this?
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
turn this around. How much have you learned from college that actually applies to your job today?
From college?
Because you could pretty much apply the exact same logic to colleges. Their goal is to take a lot of your money and teach you very little about what you actually need to know to survive in the world.
I don't know that I would agree with that, Sean.
I don't know if they're
you can go.
goals.
You can go to. You can go to art
It
school.
depends on the vocational school, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But
I
a
would say.
gen ed, maybe. A general education thing, school, liberal arts, something like that. Yeah, maybe you're spending all this money to possibly get something you may or may not use. But if you go to specifically specialize in something and you're paying to learn how to do that, and you're actually paying for the skill set involved in that, then it makes sense because then you might get a job afterwards.
I got my money's worth out of school.
Yeah.
Just today in Maya, I did something, and it's funny. I think back, I don't always give my school credit because there was aspects I don't feel like I learned much, but there was enough I learned about the program I'm using currently, Maya, that I am happy I learned what I learned.
Sure. But I think to have someone who is already paying for their education have to now pay a company to get educated by them and get the experience, it's sleazy to me. I just don't. It's
a
ugly.
clarification on this whole thing. Like, I pay my $40,000 or whatever to this school. I then have to
my,
pay.
My understanding for 4 years was 100.
What-
This was
was
like
that
was 108.
Okay, so 108, whatever. I'm just saying, here's my number. This is what I've been paying for the school. All of a sudden, I get this opportunity to work on DreamWorks' Guardian, whatever. I then have to pay more? Is that how what the...
No.
Oh,
No,
see,
no,
so
no.
it's not more.
It's coming out of your tuition.
It's an existing... I'm already paying...
So colleges are paying the studio to have these like
No. It's Digital Domain University, I think it was called. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong. You're paying there to go to normal school through their process. But like Josh said, if you're up to the par, I'm guessing
By your junior
and senior year, you would then take an internship on a production, and then
So it's
from
not-
there you'd have a
it's
couple
not costing
credits.
you
I
anymore.
see. So it's a school that's associated with the company already.
Yes.
It's like DreamWorks University.
It's not like
no.
It's
Here's
not like,
the
hey,
sleazy
I'm going
part.
to
No,
community
it's a
college.
fucking no. Let's not blow smoke up anybody's ass. It's a loophole for them to be able to do this. Me being who I am, I'm with you, Jason. There's parts of it that are sleazy as hell. But me being who I am, thinking business side, fuck, that was a great business move.
Yeah.
And they just took advantage of something that VFX studios have been doing for a while, not telling anybody.
Right. With
Every
internships.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude! Oh my god, they get free kids. My friend Mike, who got me into the industry at Asylum.
Sure.
He was there for. I'll have to ask him for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was 6 months free.
Absolutely.
Not even an internship. He moved out here he taught with me at Full Sail and was there free, just doing shots till he proved to them he could do it. And the negative side, which is going to happen to them as well, is they said, "Sweet, we're going to bring you on at this," and that number was on par with really low par waiters in LA. No. I mean, no offense.
You
I mean,
can
it's
make
no
bank
shit.
as a waiter, by the way.
Well,
in
that's
LA.
why I said low par.
You can make fucking bank
I said
now.
low par waiter. Maybe I should
Yeah.
have said Denny's waiter or something for a year.
Taco Bell doesn't get tips.
But that's the disadvantage is that when as many schools are kicking out people and DD's doing this, they're going to have potentially a plethora of these kids. And it's going to, what I told to my wife, it's going to turn into what my experience was with the studio in Vancouver I freelanced for Night at the Museum, which was, it was me, an animation soup, and like 2 other senior guys from LA. 80% were all kids. And it was our entire days were spent, or I was on IM teaching these kids what to do. And you don't have time in production to do this. You just don't.
right.
And they expected us to make up for the money that they were saving on all these kids. And it was,
It's not like you.
dude, it was
you
a
were,
fun.
you weren't
No,
seeing
they
the money.
offered. They
You weren't-
offered. No, they offered me a job afterwards. And I talked to that animation soup who was actually in Vancouver, and he's like, "Don't do it."
What's interesting,
do it.
Jack, to your point about, you could potentially hear a studio come to you and say, "Yeah, Mr. Geckler, thanks, but we can hire 6 kids for the price that we're paying you." it's really no different than the concept of outsourcing when you think about it. You know, like,
absolutely.
everybody right now is talking about how,
outsourcing
But they're saying they're
nationally.
keeping it in the country.
right.
You know,
well,
that's their argument.
But so many. But here, this is my point: is with outsourcing, so many jobs are going overseas. But then, if you look at any single studio that's attempted this, the quality of work
I'm 100% with you.
will never. I'm putting that out there. Never ever meet. Because of cultural differences, work ethics, things of that nature, will never achieve the quality that you'll get for an American. So,
And we both experienced this.
I think there was a point definitely when I was at DreamWorks where there was some India initiative there, and they were looking at doing some work in India, and there was a lot of talk internally about, I don't know, does this mean we're all going to lose our jobs? Well, the truth of the matter is no, because the work that was coming out of there was not that great.
And at Rhythm and
You had
Hughes,
to
it
have
was exactly the same
the
thing.
spell check, whatever, it came to you guys, and you had to just
We'd
quality
redo
control
it,
and
not
all.
just
No, they would
quality
redo
control.
it. No,
you
that
redo the
was
whole
our,
thing.
our experience at Rhythm.
point?
On,
Exactly.
On Golden Compass, they would come in, and then we get talked to the next day. Do you mind re-looking at the shot? Okay.
Why
Now,
didn't I just
I
do
do
the
wanna
shot?
say-
So when are you losing money? That was my argument to it. I'm like, at what point do you just?
I do want
We're
to say
not
this.
making money on this.
I do want to say this. Just putting this out there. There is good work coming from outsourcing models, right? Not just in this industry, but in general in the business world.
Lucas
But-
is making money on it for sure.
Right. But if you look at the caliber of work, there's good work. I don't want to belittle the work that's coming out there. It's just not perfect work. It's not American standard work, which is the
and
best
you're talking,
you can
you're
possibly
talking specifically animation and that kind of thing, or are you talking about just?
I guess for that.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about. In all fairness, we'll talk about what we know.
Sure.
And maybe what we've experienced.
Yeah.
And there's something to say, like working for Capcom when I was on there. A Japanese,
Yeah.
very
It went
different
the
work
other way.
ethic. Very different work ethic than Americans. You are working a shit ton, and
It was expected of you, right?
yes, very much so. And the thing is, if they couldn't cut it, there was 50 other people at the front door that were willing to.
Yeah.
You had this ability, and they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good. But what I think hurts them is the fact is they get burnt out. And just like when you stared at a computer and you've been working for 16 hours a day, your eyes aren't clear, your head isn't clear. You're just gonna miss things and stuff like that you just need to sometimes just walk away from.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't believe that they do that because those people, they will crank out stuff and they will do it quickly and they will do a great job. Don't get me wrong and stuff like that. But you will get more of the finite and the meticulous and the very subtles that you would get with companies that like Disney, like Pixar, like DreamWorks,
I do want to, I hear what you're saying. I do want to circle back to, I think, what Adam's getting at, which is this interesting thing about, does that same logic apply to, say, manufacturing, right? And I want to take this back. Somebody joked in here about the Mike Daisy on the This American Life whole thing that we were talking about Apple. We had an episode on Nerdtastic. We talked about that. I wanted to circle back to this real quick, but one of our Twitter followers actually kind of threw us an article where that whole entire thing was actually debunked.
Oh yeah.
Where it was actually said that entire This American Life episode, that entire monologue,
his monologue
was basically all fabricated.
That's rough.
He was
Which-
there.
Yeah,
He
which
was
at the
there.
same time
His
is-
interpreter said not all of that was correct.
Yes.
In all fairness, not the entire thing
Which
was
I
false.
believe is a little sketchy because you
Yes.
know how many companies are working with working with Foxconn.
Yeah.
How many people? It's just like any negative press and with all of this
absolutely.
is horrible.
So you're saying somebody could have paid her off?
Oh, fucking 100%. I'm sorry. Like,
Fair
sit there and go, oh, I misunderstood what you said. Oh, shut up. You knew exactly what you were saying. Now you're just kind of getting caught with it a little bit. And in this little, oh, well, no, I
Yeah.
didn't. No, it was
I'm
a
sure there was some. I'm
misunderstanding.
sure there was some embellishment, but I think we all could agree in this room, just off the suicides that were made public to everybody,
Yeah.
that
Sure.
Yeah.
that
There's no fabricating.
there's
no
there's some
fabricating
bad
suicide
things.
nets on the building. No, I photoshopped that in.